Yeah, they can hear it. All right, we're gonna get started. Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to another AMA. If this is the first time that you guys are joining an AMA, we are just raise the volume a little bit. Here we go. So how these sessions normally work is everyone has submitted questions via the form that was posted in email and inside of Discord. I took those questions and created this summary sheet where we now have categories of the different questions that we're going to go through. These are all submitted by you guys. So the questions that were submitted the most were like I tried to incorporate them because we want to get answers to the things that are on the minds of all of you guys the most. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to go through the Q&A. I'll pause from time to time and try to answer the chat, try to see if there's anything else that you guys want clarification on. But if you do want to participate in the giveaway, just go into Discord, go to the giveaway channel, and fill out the form. You could also see it in the announcements channel right now. There is a form that you guys can fill out to submit a question. After this session, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick a winner for the giveaway. Well, there's going to be multiple winners. So if you guys submit a question, you have a very high likelihood of winning an account. And I just want to say this, everyone that has won an account recently, because we've been giving away a lot of accounts, 300 accounts, probably 400 accounts in the last couple of days. If you have won an account, congratulations, right? You guys, that means that you followed instructions, you guys participated, you're helping to grow the community, and we really appreciate your guys' support, and that's why we're giving you ultimately these accounts. And if you guys can demonstrate consistency on those accounts and make it to a payout, then it's a win-win for both of us. But as you guys know, I posted in the statistics channel, people who tend to get giveaway accounts do not do well. If you want to look at the statistics, go in Discord, statistics channel. I posted in there the success rate on giveaways. I believe it was so far this year. And the success rate on giveaways is not high. I think about 1% of people actually make it to the payout. So if you've gotten a giveaway account, be careful, trade carefully. You guys haven't paid any money for it, so people tend to just not respect them and punt them. So best of luck to you guys, but let's just get into the session. So category 1 is going to be payouts and withdrawals. First question, what is the current average payout processing time and what steps are being taken to expedite payouts to meet industry standards, 2 to 3 business days or even 24 hours? I do see there are a few firms that are doing the 24-hour guarantee. In terms of the standard, I do believe it's more so around 2 to 3 business days. We had posted in the statistics channel that our average time is right now around 4 to 5 business days. As of the last couple of weeks, you guys have seen that the average time has actually gone even higher in some cases. And I'm going to explain to you the reason necessarily that this is happening. So starting around March 1st, we started to send out more of the relaunch accounts, which were the accounts that were owed to people who basically got their accounts paused in March 2024. So they were sent a 100% off coupon to resume trading with us. When we started sending out those accounts, we started doing the enhanced support days to facilitate that. So you might have seen me inside of Discord hosting the enhanced support days. People were submitting tickets. We were breaking the challenges down into smaller account sizes and then sending it out to them. Now, the first thing that we noticed is that we were letting people back onto the platform that were previously banned from trading with us, that were not permitted to trade with us. We started to submit those people onto the platform. As we started to allow those people on the platform, we noticed straight away that within 30 days, those people started to account for about 10% of the payouts that were going out, and they were only accounting for about 3% of the revenue. So these people were essentially getting the free accounts, they weren't purchasing more accounts, and they were running up on payouts, which were increasing our costs, obviously. significantly. Not only that, we actually had a little bit of an issue where the system wasn't monitoring the accounts correctly in terms of one of the rules, the daily march. We corrected it, we made an announcement about it. So we noticed that that was going on. And then the other thing is overall, we noticed that with the pricing that we had simulated a certain pass rate and certain payouts to revenue ratio with some of our tools that we use. And we noticed that that pass rate and payout to revenue ratio on some challenges was perfect. On other challenges, it was actually higher than we forecasted and expected. So as you can imagine, um, this required us to use more of our capital to pay out payouts. And what I mean by that is basically instead of anticipating 30% of revenue having to go to payouts, it was going all the way up to 50% of revenue having to go to payouts. And that changes cash flow, that changes payout plans because we've been starting to make payment plans with all these different traders that are owed the payouts from March 2024. So long story short, right now we have a fixed cost of around 30% every month. What that means is those are costs going to platforms, those are costs going to technology, costs going to payment processing, employees, different payment plans that we're on to clear debt with traders that we've already formed. So that means there's 70% of margin available to essentially pay out payouts, which is more than enough room for us to be able to pay out payouts, right? Our forecasted payout to revenue ratio is about 30%. That means that if all goes well, 30% of revenue goes to fixed costs, 30% of revenue goes to payouts, and that means whatever is left over, which would be 40%, is then hypothetically profit for the business that the business can use to either reinvest in itself or to pay debts. In the last 60 days, we've started to notice that that number of payouts to revenue has gone up from 30% to 50%, starting to squeeze ourselves and allowing us to have less cash flow. And that is one thing that's affecting the payout rates and why the payouts have been not as close to 2 days, but in some cases 5 days. And in some cases, you're seeing up to 8 days. And that is just the reality of the situation. So you might be asking, how are we going to reverse this trend? Because I'm just being very transparent and honest with you guys about the current situation, what's going on. Is yesterday we made changes to the pricing because as you all know that have been purchasing challenges right now, we are by far the cheapest program in the entire industry. Um, and with that being said, we have to make sure that the pass rate and the payout rate is accurate because if we're going to be charging less money, that means that we're going to basically have less money to work with at the end of the day, right? So with the changes that we made yesterday to the pricing, that's going to help bring what's called average order value up. So anyone that is interested in getting into a business, this type of business, average order value is just out of all of the challenges that are being purchased, how much are people paying on average? We noticed that average order value, specifically on the 5K through 25K, in some cases was resulting in us actually having a like negative profit, right? Where we were selling the product for less than the fixed cost plus payout costs that we were dishing out at the end of the day. Then we noticed on some of the higher account sizes, we had a really healthy profit margin. We had a really healthy margin between fixed costs and payouts versus actual revenue. So the goal of the pricing change was to increase the average order value of those lower account sizes after our largest discount. So right now, even though we're running 90% off, after that discount, the average order value is still high enough to put us at a forecasted 50% profit margin after payouts and fixed costs are paid and on all account sizes. And that's where we need to be, at least from an average order value perspective. When it comes to pass rates and the rate at which people are actually getting payouts, so how much in payouts people get per each account that they have, the lifetime of that account, we're noticing on the Night and Night Pro, we're noticing some interesting trends in the last 6 months, in the last 90 days, in the last 60 days, in the last 30 days. As we all know, there's been a lot more volatility in the market with Trump enacting these tariffs and this trade war that's been going on with the United States. And that has brought a lot more volatility into the market as well. And when there's more volatility in the market with props, there tends to be a higher rate of payouts because people are getting into moves. Those are moving more quickly in one direction. They're ultimately able to win more in this type of environment. When there's a consolidating market that is not highly volatile and trending in one direction, tends to be harder in prop for traders to actually make money. This is what we've seen. And this is part of the reason why we've noticed that pass rates have gone up, payout rates have not gone up as much as pass rates. And we also made changes recently to the night and night pro challenges. So we're monitoring them very closely to see, are those changes sustainable? Is it the volatility in the market that is affecting this? Or are there changes that need to be made? So after this call, I'm going to be posting a poll. And this is based on feedback that you've given recently on what you like about the night challenge and the night pro challenge and what you don't like about the night and night pro challenge. We've created different options for changes to those programs that will affect only new purchases. So you want to be clear on that. Once those changes are live, it will affect only new purchases. And the goal there is to continue to work to balance the risk so that even in the most volatile market, when Trump is slinging tweets on X and is doing a trade war and doing tariffs, we know that our business can be sustainable, and we know that we're always going to be at a certain payout to revenue ratio and a certain pass rate in the worst case scenario, which is where ourselves and other firms are seeing themselves at the current moment. So with these changes, you guys will see it inside of Discord. What we're prioritizing is a higher profit split. In some cases, it will be 95%. I believe for the Night Pro, it will be 95%. For the Night Challenge, it will be 98%. But I will post this afterwards. And then in terms of pricing, it will still be the lowest in the industry by far, because we know that pricing and payout split and first payout time is extremely important to you guys, because we've done a lot of surveys on this and you guys have told us that over and over and over again. Then there will be proposals for different ways to change the daily march, the consistency score as well. And that is going to be what helps us to balance out this challenge. Some of you are going to be seeing these changes and think that this is actually an improvement of where we're currently at. And that's what the goal is, because we want to be creating something that you guys think is giving you the best opportunity to get paid and to get payouts at the end of the day and to pass the challenges. But the reality is all these options that we've curated for you guys transparently are made in a way where they're actually helping to balance the firm's risk even more. And that's what's called a partnership between us and you guys, is if we can offer challenges that have lower risk to ourselves in terms of the payout to revenue ratios and the pass rates, but in your guys' eyes, they actually give you more optimism, they give you more confidence, they give you better opportunity to actually get payouts, to make more money. That is the dance that we're currently playing right now. So this is how we're going to get back to a 2 to 3 business day payout period. I'm being extremely transparent with you guys about what's been happening, what's going on. We're not going anywhere. That's not even remotely close to the reality of the situation. All we are doing is continuing to make the changes necessary so that over time, even in the worst case scenario, the business can always be stabilized. And for us to be doing what we're doing right now, we shouldn't even be around. We shouldn't even be alive as a business right now. We should be dead at the end of the day. So being able to navigate a situation like this for us is simply just another day. It's another step And anyone that has had recently felt like their payout has been over 4 business days, which has been the average, um, and has been affected by this, but has inevitably been paid. This is the reason, and this is what's currently going on. But with these changes to the pricing and to the Night and Night Pro, it will drive down that payout processing time back under 4 days, which is where we have been for all of 2025. So I'm gonna move on to the next question. I see more people have been joining the session. I just want to let you guys know this is recorded and will be on YouTube afterwards. So if you have missed the first question, then you will be able to rewatch this, and we'll add timestamps to this as well. And really quickly, anyone that has DM'd me looking for support, because I've either told you in Discord or on Twitter that you should direct message me and I will get back to you. I'm not ignoring you. At the moment, there are things that I'm working through that are extremely high priority, and your message is high priority as well for me. So I will be getting back to you very soon, and we'll be getting a resolution for you very soon, and you will see that. And actions at the end of the day speak louder than words, so I appreciate your guys following up. But I will, when I have the time, get back to you and make sure that when I do, I put the time necessary into getting your situation resolved. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Why are there delays in payouts currently, and when can traders expect consistently faster processing? I just went in detail about that, and the remedies that we're going to be putting in place this week, yesterday in the price changes, and this week in the Night and Night Pro accounts for new challenges. So look out for that survey that's going to be posted. As always, there's going to be a giveaway going on with that as well. Are there plans to introduce more withdrawal methods, specifically cryptocurrency and direct bank transfers for regions like India? We are currently almost completed with 2 new withdrawal methods. Give me 1 second. I just need to plug my computer in so it doesn't die. And while I'm doing this, again, if you want to participate in the giveaway, just go to announcements in Discord and look for the latest post. There's a form there where you can submit your question. And after this session, I'm going to go through all the submissions, and that's where I'm going to pick the winners. I believe we're giving away 50 accounts, but I have to check after this. All right. We're back. So in terms of withdrawal methods, we were supposed to go live with Plain yesterday. We're still working through building the process, but hopefully today I can get it live. You guys will be able to start requesting via Plain. Let's just make sure this is on the screen. So yeah, we're supposed to be going live with Plain yesterday. That's going to be the alternative to Rise that we're going to have for you guys. Most likely will be live today. And then crypto is going to go live for USA. So if you're in the US, you'll be able to withdraw via crypto. It's already available as well for a bunch of different countries. So if you don't know if your country is eligible for crypto payouts, just go to the FAQ and check that out. Next question, can you address concerns about payouts potentially being tied to new sales revenue rather than readily available capital? Yeah, this is a very, very good question at the end of the day. And these types of businesses, if the pass rate and payout to revenue ratios and average order values are not properly configured, you could find yourself in a position where you are using new sales revenue rather than readily available capital to pay the payouts. What I will say is this, is in terms of our current operations, when it comes to new challenges, all of the relaunch accounts aside, so people that have been given those 100% off coupons to restart trading with the funded trader because of what happened in 2024, all of those accounts aside, the company is not using new sales revenue rather than readily available capital to pay the payouts of people who are purchasing challenges right now. That's just not the reality. Now, the situation that we're trying to navigate, the reality of the situation is giving away all of those 100% off coupons for the relaunch accounts from people in March 2024 that got paused, and those payouts that are owed in these payout settlements. That is what we're trying to fiscally configure and figure out how we're going to continue to afford that. And that's why we've paused sending new relaunch accounts out. That's why the payout dates that you guys have been getting for payouts before March 2024 have been extended, is because any net profit that we are making from current operations is going towards that, paying the payouts of those people, of people getting those relaunch accounts, of people getting those payout plans. And that's just the reality of the situation. So in terms of the current operational profit or current operational revenue coming from new challenge purchases, those are being paid with readily available capital. And it's very important for me to clarify that. And that's just the reality. Is we could have scratched the funded trader, declared bankruptcy, and nobody would have got payouts, nobody would have got accounts back. The company would have just effectively died out, right? And we didn't go that direction, right? We could have started a new entity, relaunched, used all the emails that we had, rebrand the social media accounts to be a new company, etc. And if we had done that, the reality is I would be looking at have already been making millions of dollars in that situation, in that alternative timeline. And I firmly believe that there's other firms and other people that have already done this within this space right now. They've chosen to fuck over their original community, completely leave, and start something new, and they're profiting from that decision. And that's just not something that we decided to do. We're navigating ourselves out of a hole, or navigating ourselves out of a ditch. And the reality is we have to prioritize the people that paid. And that's why you're seeing there are some people who are getting paid in 2 to 3 to 5 to 4 days consistently. And those are people that really are purchasing new challenges. Those are people that are supporting the funded traders relaunch and have been supporting the relaunch. And there's some people whose payouts at the current moment are getting delayed beyond 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. And those are a lot of people who are using the relaunch accounts and are not purchasing new challenges right now. And this is just the reality of the situation. Is people that are paying at the current moment, we have to make sure that they have a great experience, because at the end of the day, if they're not paying and if nobody's paying, then nobody gets paid anything, and nobody gets accounts, and the company just dies. And that's just the reality of the situation. I've said that in Discord as well, and I've said this before. The people that are choosing to shit on us all over Trustpilot and all over social media, you are not affecting me per se, right? You are affecting me, but it's not about me. You're affecting the people in the community. You're affecting these other traders that are owed things. At the end of the day, if we continue to build the community back up, we continue to support each other, that's how people are going to get paid faster. That's how people are, in terms of the backlog of payouts, that's how people are going to get accounts that are still owed quicker. All of us are here to support each other at the end of the day. So when you guys want to go and rag us on social media, rag us on Twitter, rag us on Trustpilot, just know that the more that you do to damage the business, it really just impacts the people who are owed payouts from the pause of operations in March 2024 the most. And that's what I've been trying to voice to you guys. Now, on a more positive note, in the last 60 days, the company has had multiple largest weeks since the relaunch. So we have recently been gaining a lot of momentum, and that's why it's extremely important right now we continue to refine and make sure pass rates are good, payout rates are good, the average order value is good, because as we continue to grow, there's going to become a lot more money available. Not for me to be buying yachts and be partying and doing whatever the fuck I want to do. That's not the reality. The money becoming available is for you guys. It's for people owed debts. It's for people owed payouts. It's for people that are owed accounts. And it's for us to reinvest in the business to create a better experience for you guys. So I hope that was an insightful answer to your question. We're going to move on to category 2. This one, I don't know why this is cut off. Let's see if this helps. No, all right, it's fine. All right, category 2, are there plans to review, modify, remove specific trading rules like the daily march, steadfast gains rule, profit caps, especially on funded accounts, or consistency requirements? On the CFD side, there is a lot of volatility at the end of the day, and there is, in my opinion, for the longevity of the business and for ultimately what we're trying to do, which is create a sustainable business model, having these rules, the daily march, which is the minimum profitable days, the steadfast gains, which is a consistency rule, the profit caps on funded accounts, these things, in my mind, are not required per se in the industry, but this is the direction and the strategy of the company moving forward. With this new direction and new strategy, we are ultimately seeing people getting paid more. And this is how I'm going to describe it, right? If we look at historically the payouts that have been paid by the funded trader, there is a small group of people who have made around 70% of the payouts of the funded trader. And that's because they've hit huge trades, they've hit a huge payout, and it completely skews the entire set of data where all of a sudden, if there's 155 million in payouts, you're seeing 100 million of that go to a small group of people that are hitting large payouts. Now, at the end of the day, I understand that being able to hit a large payout is part of the allure to wanting to trade with one of these companies. It's part of the fascination and ultimately like the ideation, the lust of trading with a prop firm is, what if I make a 100K payout? What if I make a 50K payout? What if I make a 200K payout? And we operated as a business like that previously, where you were able to do that. You were able to hit massive payouts with the funded trader, and that's part of the reason why it became such a large company and why everyone talked about it so much. And we're seeing this in other industries now, or in the future space. Someone got like a $2 million payout, multiple people, right? Now, the difference is they got that $2 million payout while requesting like 20 payouts of some amount, right? So for them, they had 20 different accounts. They requested however much it was on each of those accounts, and that resulted in the $2 million payout. So we're looking to go in the direction of someone trading more accounts, someone satisfying more rules per se, someone getting a smaller payout, but over time, people getting more payouts. And over time, people ultimately can accumulate still that $100,000 that person hit in one payout. They can accumulate that, but it is going to be more difficult and it is going to require more skill. That's just the reality. So all of these rules really make this a more professional and advanced program where you do have to maintain more discipline to be able to reach your milestones. And we might not be as popular for doing that. The company might never become as popular as it was previously, just in terms of mainstream social media. But that to me is not what's important at this stage. At this stage, it's how do we create something sustainable? How do we create something that for the entire group of people moves them in the right direction, in terms of everyone getting better at trading, becoming more disciplined. That is what we are most focused on now. That's our strategic objective. So for us, if previously we did 15 million in a month and we paid out 10 million in a month and we had fixed costs of 3 million in a month, and then there was 2 million in profit left over, if that was how it was previously, then when things were going well, our goal now is to do 3 million a month, and for there to be 1 million in payouts, and for there to be 500,000 in fixed costs, and for us to be making 1.5 million in net profit off of that 3 million. That's the current strategic objective of the company right now. So it's not to become as large as possible. It's not to be the fascination of everyone, the lust of everyone. It's to just be a sustainable company, to have a sustainable model, to have traders who are committed to following rules and to really working on their craft. And ultimately, the company's not going to be as big, potentially because of that, versus some of the other players in the space that are more open ended. But that's okay. That's what we've learned from where we were at previously. That's where we will want to be at now. Now, will we mess around with the rules where things will change that you believe make the challenge easier per se? Yeah, we're going to continue to poll you guys, get feedback, and be adjusting things for new challenge purchases that hopefully you guys think is more fair and as a business makes us even more sustainable. An example of this could be when we get to our new tech. One thing that could be interesting is instead of the consistency rule being 50%, maybe you can dynamically choose what the consistency rule is. Maybe it's 90%, maybe it's 20%, and maybe that affects your daily drawdown or that affects your profit withdrawal percentage. So there's going to be ways that we continue to innovate to give you guys the choice on what rules that you want to have. The goal is for them always to be made in a way that's sustainable. Will you consider changing the drawdown type for certain challenges relative to static for Night Pro? We have the static for Night, so we are not going to consider changing for Night Pro, at least at the moment, the drawdown to static. Can you clarify the rules around scalping, minimum trade duration, and layering strategies? I'm not going to sit here and explain exactly the rules around this, because if you go to the FAQ and you search rapid fire trading, it's really spelled out there exactly what we're looking for in terms of people who are trading a lot of positions within 10 seconds, 1 minute, 1 hour. So if you go there and read that article, if at that point you still have questions, just tag me in Discord with the exact questions that you have, and I will clarify and update the article to be even more clear for you. And in terms of layering strategies, I know at the current moment we don't have an article about layering, so that definitely is something that we should look into adding to the FAQ. But I will say this, in terms of rejected payouts or profit deductions, etc., I can count on the one hand in the last 90 days the amount of deductions or rejections that were due to layering. So although it's a topic in the community, the reason it hasn't been addressed more urgently per se is because of how insignificant it actually has affected the amount of payouts. Will you introduce the new challenge types such as shorter duration challenges, 15 days, or challenges with different leverage options? We're always considering new challenges, right? We're always considering new options for what we can do. And if we come up with something new, we'll ask you guys. But the main challenge we're looking to launch is the instant. It was supposed to be out April 26th, but it got delayed because of the new dashboard launch. So it's gonna launch with the new dashboard. We're shooting for like the first week of June right now. I'm gonna announce an official date for the transition, hopefully within the next week, 2 weeks. But it will launch with that. So that will be the new challenge. But it's not a challenge, instant funding account, but same thing. Let's keep going. How does the firm handle rule breaches, specifically regarding soft breach warnings versus immediate disqualification? This is in the FAQ as well. So we noticed that people, of course, started to abuse the soft breach that we enabled for the daily drawdown. That is why now it's 3 warnings and then the account is hard breached. People were doing all sorts of different things, but how the firm handles the rule breaches is it's automated. So there's a system that's tracking the warnings. You guys will be receiving email templates with those warnings, and then on the third one you'll be notified when there actually is a hard breach. It's not an immediate breach. There's a process that runs once per day to basically pick all the people up that have reached the third warning for the soft breach in the daily drawdown, and then it will breach the account, send you notification, and that's how it currently works. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. Here we go. All right, real quick, I'm gonna pause. So if you guys again want to participate in the giveaway, go to Discord, go to the announcements channel. There, you guys can fill out a form, and in that form, or from that form, I will pick the winners directly after this session. So go there now if you want to participate in the giveaway. You have a pretty good chance of actually winning an account. Based on the amount of people that submitted already, you have about a 30% chance to win. All right, category 3. Pricing, discounts, promotions. What was the strategy behind the recent price increases for challenges, especially when combined with increased discount percentages? How does this model ensure competitiveness and fairness? So priority number 1 was just looking at pass rates, looking at payout rates, looking at average order value, seeing which challenges and account sizes when it comes to our payout to revenue ratio and ultimately like our margin, which ones were below 50%. So which ones are we below 50% after fixed costs and payouts? Meaning $1,000 in revenue comes in, $500 goes to fixed costs and payouts, $500 is left over in net profit. That's where we're trying to be at as a business, to then take that $500 in net profit and use that to pay the backlog of payouts and pay the relaunch account payouts. That is transparently exactly where we're trying to be at. So any challenge or account size that was below that 50% margin, we adjusted pricing after max discount in order to be in line with the idea that it will be a 50% profit margin for that challenge. Fortunately for us, when you look at the pricing, even after our max discount, it's still by far the lowest in the industry. And that is because we have harder rules, right? We have the consistency, we have the daily march rules, we have payout caps. That's the reality. So you get to pay lower pricing, you get higher profit splits, you get, in most cases, anytime payouts are on Royal Pro, paid every 2 days, are able to request every 2 days. But you have to abide by the consistency rule. There's payout caps, and there's a minimum profitable day rule. That's the pros and cons of what we're doing right now. So the strategy is, people at the end of the day love discounts. We ran some polls asking people, should we just lower the prices overall and just run smaller discounts? And people wanted us to continue to run larger discounts instead. So we're sticking to that for now. But I will say this, once we move dashboards in June and we revamp the website, our value proposition is going to change to some extent, and we are going to go in a different direction when it comes to the discounts. The base price is going to become lower, and we're going to be doing like 5 to 10% offs. So the base price will be very low to begin with, and then we'll be doing 5 to 10% off with that. And that's just going to be the new direction we go in to take a more professional approach. But as of now, we're doing the 90% offs. We're continuing to do that. That's the current strategy, and that's just marketing at the end of the day. So that's where we're at with that. How will new pricing structure affect affordability, particularly for smaller account sizes? You could check it out. I mean, we could post afterwards the summary of like all the pricing and how it's changed from previously. But the account sizes that have gone up the most in price are really the 5K, 10K accounts, and the 25K a little bit, because at the end of the day, if our fixed costs for platform, for technology, for payment processing, let's say it's $10, right? And we're selling the 5K account for $30. And then we know payouts from that account is going to be another 30% or another $10. That means our margin on that account is only 30%. We're trying to be at 50% margin. So then in order to get to 50% margin, we'd have to increase the price from $30 to $50 after that max discount. And that's similar to what we've done in terms of the pricing adjustment. So you will see the biggest changes on the smaller account sizes, but they still, for the most part, are the lowest price challenges in the entire industry. And I've looked using Prop Firm Match, using Prop Firm Journal at all of the other firms, the challenges, the account sizes, and it is still the cheapest pricing. How does the company plan to remain profitable while offering significant discounts? Does high discounting impact operational workflow or stability? So the strategy, we went over this a little bit earlier, but the strategy here is that we're always looking at price after max discount, and we're always looking at our average order value. So with offering 90% off, 80% off, 85% off, right? Our average order value becomes a summation of all of those discounts. And then when looking at our average order value, we can derive our profit margins from the last 90 days, and we can forecast what our profit margins will be for the next 90 days, the next 180 days, the next year, etc. So when we are making the pricing, it is always after the max discount, what is going to be the firm's profitability, what is going to be the profit margins. That is the strategy, right? We're not basing profit margin or forecasting profit margin or cash flow off of the base price when we're running 90% off, right? That wouldn't make much sense. So at the end of the day, we can afford to run 90% off, 85% off, etc. After the max discount is what we're looking at, to answer your question. And people, at the end of the day, they love the time discounts. This is why I said this on a previous AMA. This is why Wendy's, if you pass Wendy's, it will always say on the sign that the snow cone is there for a limited time only. It's tried, test, and time. Like, this method has been tried forever when it comes to discounting, when it comes to promotional, when it comes to limited only items. This is why if you go on some of your favorite firms right now, you'll see little messages on the pricing table that say limited time only. Like, go to your favorite firm right now in the top 3 and you'll see that. It's just marketing. It's just strategy at the end of the day, product marketing strategy. And yeah, so let's go to the next one. How are giveaway winners selected? Is it purely random? Are there factors like community engagement? Community engagement is considered for giveaway winners. We're looking at people who have been customers, who have been loyal to us. We're looking for people who have participated for free, right, inside of the community, have engaged with us, have participated in previous giveaways. So there is a strategy, and that's why you're seeing some people win more giveaway accounts than others, is they're just simply more active community members. They're more invested in the community than other people, and they're being rewarded for that reason. What is the status of relaunch accounts for users affected by the pause, including unclaimed giveaway account specific requests like the Great Giveaway 85 user? When will the next batch go out? So we mentioned this previously. Given the current size of the company and the current payout to revenue ratio, we have to be extremely careful with sending out 100% off coupons to accounts anywhere from 5K to 200K, because the reality is that those accounts will need to be paid from net profit of the business that is currently running right now. So if we bring in $1 million and we have 500K in fixed costs and payouts from our current operations, and there's 500K left over, that 500K will then be used to pay relaunch accounts, to pay payouts related to March 2024, etc. So our current goal and objective, transparently to you guys, is to be growing to $2 million a month in revenue. That's where we'd like to be. We're currently at about 50% of that rate. We'd like to grow to $2 million in revenue. We'd like to have a 50% fixed cost and payout ratio. So we're profiting about $1 million per month. And then that net profit is used to clear the backlog of payouts, to pay these relaunch account payouts. That will be more than enough to clear everything that is currently owed, to give more relaunch accounts out. So if we get to $2 million a month and have a 50% profit margin, I guarantee within the next 2 to 3 months of that happening, if that happens for 2 to 3 months straight, you will see every single person that's owed a payout from March 2024, they will be paid. Every single person that got a relaunch account, they will get that was owed a relaunch account, they will get that account back. Every single person that had a giveaway account that's currently not getting one from the relaunch, they will end up getting an account. Every single person denied a payout that we then audit and give the payout settlement to, they will then get the payout, right? This is the current game that we're playing. This is the reality of the situation that we're in. This is a very difficult situation to navigate and to be in. But the best way to navigate it is to just be honest with you guys, because this is how we're going to ultimately get to what our goal is. And for those listening to this and thinking, wow, this is a lot, right? This is a lot to handle. Just think how it was a year ago when TFT crashed and burned and we had to navigate from a ditch 10 feet underground. So where we're at now is an extremely blessed position to be in. I'm extremely grateful to be here. I'm extremely grateful to see the company growing and for us to be in a position where we actually can get into a position to make happen what we've been working towards for an entire year. We are right on the cusp of having that happen. And for all the new people that have just found TFT, that are just, coming here for the first time, etc., you guys are the reason. You guys are supporting us. You guys are trusting us. You guys are like putting your money in on this. You like the innovative challenges that we've had. You're giving feedback. You're participating. You guys are very valued community members right now. We're going to make sure that you guys get paid. We're going to make sure you guys get taken care of. At the end of the day, I'm going to work every single day as much as I physically can to answer messages, to make sure that things are running correctly, to audit any things that go wrong, etc. To make sure that you guys have a positive experience. And we've been seeing you guys have a positive experience over the last couple months. It's reflecting on Trustpilot, it's reflecting on social media, it's reflecting on our sentiment, on our revenue. So things are working. Things that we're doing are working, and we're making a lot of progress. But I sit here and I tell you that there is more progress to be made. There's a lot more work to be done. All right, let's keep going. We're going to pause, though, for a second. We still have a lot to go over, and that is fine. We're going to get through all of it. But we're going to pause. You guys, if you have not participated yet in the giveaway, go to announcements in Discord. Go to the latest message there. You will then be able to fill out a form, and I will pick winners directly after this call. So let's get back into it. Let's go to category. What is the timeline for launching the new proprietary trading platform dashboard? What key features will it include? So this is my favorite section of the session. Let's go here. So right now we're looking to launch, believe it or not, it's going to be the 4-year anniversary of the Funded Trader. 4 years, yeah, on May 21st. So next month will be the 4-year anniversary. Now, around that time is when we're going to migrate to the new dashboard. Most likely a first weekend in June. Right now, where we're currently at is the entire front end is built out. So the part you guys are going to see is done. The back end, where our team, the support team, our admin users are going to be looking at all of the submissions of payouts, all the users, all the purchases, etc. That part is probably around, I would say, 70% done. The part that monitors all the platforms, that essentially the engine of the entire machine, that one is around 90% done. Now, what that all means is once we have all of those 100% done, we have to have at least a 2-week testing period where the system all runs together. We see all the data is in the right places, it's updating correctly, etc. Key business processes are operating correctly. We want at least 2 solid weeks of it running flawlessly for us to be confident to move over to that new dashboard. We've seen a lot of other firms do migrations or do switches, and they're messy, and We've done migrations in the past and they were messy. So right now we want to make sure that we get this right. We want to make sure that we take our time. That is the most important thing. In terms of key features, you can go to, um, I believe it was posted in release notes. Under notice board in Discord, under release notes, you can see all of the features that are either going to be included or that are going to be added in the next coming months with the new dashboard. In terms of the trading platform as well, we're going to put a survey out for that probably tomorrow or Thursday. Just getting more feedback from you guys. I know risk management tools are a huge component of what you guys want on a trading platform. You want simplicity, you want mobile friendliness. So we have a great idea of where to go with that whole platform. There's going to be more surveys to come out with that. So yeah, timeline, definitely one of the first 2 weekends in June. I'm going to announce an actual date though in the next 7 to 10 days. When can traders expect MT5 access for US clients? So MT5 is not available to US clients generally. I know there's maybe like one or two firms that offer maybe MT5 for US, but generally MT5 is not available for US. So in terms of when can traders expect MT5, I'm not going to comment on that too much. But yeah, there's some things in the background that are going on that we're working on. I see a lot of firms in the industry getting access to it under the prop. So we're working hard to get that project wrapped up, and that is something that I am working on behind the scenes. Are there plans to develop a dedicated mobile application for account management? Yes. So there is going to be an iOS Android app version of your dashboard. We are working on that, and that's something that we're gonna be very proud of once it actually comes out. Will TFT be integrating futures or crypto trading options soon? No. So TFT itself will not be integrating futures or crypto. We are going to be looking at launching a separate futures entity once our dashboard technology is live on for this company. That one will be the funded futures. So you look out for that. You'll look out for that soon. I'll be making some announcements. Probably in quarter 3 is when that's going to come out. Right now, a lot of how could I put this? There's a lot of firms launching right now, and although we would have loved to be part of this wave of firms that are launching, um, at the end of the day, there's no bad time to get into any industry. It's about innovation. It's about operationally, right? Having the right things in place, the right processes, and having the right strategy from a marketing perspective. So we're confident to enter the future space at any time, and we know that we're going to make a lot of noise there. We want to make sure we have the right platforms and we have our own technology for that and all of that. So look out for that in the near future. Is TFT considering introducing instant funding models? If so, what rules and structure look like? Yeah, it'll be launching along with the dashboard in June. I'll be posting some polls. I'm going to be asking you guys for feedback on that. But let's just say it's going to have a larger max drawdown than any instant funding firm. It's going to have a very low price. And we're going to be prioritizing having a higher payout split on that challenge. So those are what we're going to be building around. And we're going to be looking at futures instant funding challenges, our instant funding programs, CFDs instant funding programs. We're going to be getting ideas from all of those to try to create the best possible option that from a risk perspective makes sense. Will features with account merging or cross-platform trade copier be considered? Account merging, no. We are not going back to that like in that direction, right? Previously with TFT, we allowed you to merge accounts, etc. It just increases the risk of the firm if you guys are merging accounts just transparently. So it's not something that we're looking to do. It throws off the models that we created to anticipate what each account size and payouts there will be when all of a sudden we don't sell a 200K account, but then someone has a 600K account. It just throws everything off. So We're not going to be doing account merging. Cross-platform trade copier. Yeah, that's something that people voted on as one of the options to kind of create our own trade copier that you can use that is available. So it's on the radar. It's in the release notes too in Discord. How does the company plan to handle technical issues or platform outages with the move to proprietary technology? It's a good question. I think the one thing I learned from when we had to migrate from MT5 to DX Trade back in March 2024, which ultimately led to the demise of the company. Um, the one thing I learned from that situation was we were trying to go fast. We were trying to not disrupt you guys' experience, right? We wanted to make sure that you could trade immediately. That was kind of the number one factor, and that was the wrong approach. The right approach is making sure that there is no downtime when we do migrate you guys. If we need to take a 3 day break, where during that 3 days we ensure that the data is correct, that we send everyone the right accounts, etc., that things are connected correctly. I'd rather us pause for 3 days and get you guys the right experience after those 3 days than do it in one day and you guys have a shit experience for the next 10 days. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's how we're gonna handle it. Is just prioritize making sure that it's done well, that it's done correctly, overdoing it, rushing in, doing it too quickly. We learned from that in the past. So let's go ahead. Let's go to the next section. Company strategy, stability, and trust. What specific measures and safeguards have been implemented to ensure long-term stability of the firm and prevent issues that led to the previous pause? What is the business continuity plan? This is a great question. Props to whoever asked this question. So in terms of measures and safeguards that are in place, we have our own what's called business intelligence tool now that's monitoring the key KPIs of the business. It's keeping us more informed of the pass rates, the payout rates, the average order values, metrics in terms of different countries, different regions, etc. So it's helping us to understand risk of the business a lot more than we had previously been doing. And for me, this allows us to communicate to you guys when there potentially needs to be changes. It also allows us to see where there's opportunities to have lower pricing, to change the challenge in a way that's more friendly to you guys, etc. So it's really just comes down to the tools that we have in place to monitor the risk and the KPIs of the company. Being within such a new industry, right, there was no tools. We had to build all the tools ourselves. And part of the reason why we had such a difficult time migrating from MT5 to DX Trade back in 2024 was all of our tools were built for MT5 and they weren't compatible with DX Trade. And when we migrated, a lot of the risk tools that we had simply did not work correctly with DX Trade, and that was a huge kind of hit on us at that time. So we now have connectivity to C Trader, DX Trade, Match Trader, MT5, building our own platform, building our own technology. Those are things that vertical integration is going to allow us to have more stability, more flexibility, move more quickly. And I just think overall, when it comes to the stability of the company, I mean, we are experienced going through such a tough time, such a tough situation. We definitely have a lot more kind of confidence in our positioning. We have a lot more confidence in our ability to make very tough decisions. And that's kind of part of the business continuity plan, is having the right people in place to be making really hard decisions, right? The team downsized. We have less team members, but we have very dedicated and focused team now. Processes, we've done a lot more documentation. We're leveraging AI to build new things. Like, for example, right now, you're manually verifying yourself in Discord. This is a very small project, but we just built like a system where you can verify yourself to get automatic roles in Discord. We're going to be announcing that in the next week or so. So just stuff like that, building tools, building our own technology. That's how we're going to have more stability, and that is the business continuity plan. How does TFT plan to regain trust of the trading community and compete effectively with the established and emerging prop firms? What is the vision for TFT in the next 1 to 5 years? So, um, for us, it's an interesting position because we had already been larger than FTMO at one point. In this situation, we've had the largest trading competition in this situation, probably in the world. If we did the Guinness Book of World Records, I bet there's no one else with a bigger competition than us at one point. Um, so for us to regain trust, it's the same way that we built trust. Is trust is built over time. We can't really flip a switch right now and just have everyone trust us. Even when we reach those numbers I mentioned earlier in terms of revenue and profit margin and paying out everyone and giving everyone the accounts, even then there's going to be trust issues, there's going to be doubts. We're going to have trouble getting on prop for match, payout junction, etc. It still will be a struggle to get the Trustpilot score to trend back to 4.5 where it was previously. But that's something those are things that can't happen in a day. Those are things that are going to take time. The same way we built from 0 to 4 years this business, it's going to take 4 years to 8 years. And it's not going to, at 8 years, we're not going to be at where we were previously. We might be 5 times where we were previously. But that's just the reality of business. And I encourage any of you guys that are entrepreneurial or that are just even in trading, just don't think that you're going to reach your goal in 1 month. Don't think you're going to reach it in 1 year. Don't think you're going to reach it in 5 years. Think very long term. Like when I started in trading, in business, etc., and people were asking me what I was doing and why I was doing this and when I'm going to make it or when I'm going to make money, I told them that I am fine with doing this until I'm 80 years old, and if I have my breakthrough at 75, then I have my breakthrough at 75. Now, a lot of you might be hearing that and saying, "Oh, it's bullshit. Oh, that's not realistic. You're gonna have a family, etc." I am telling you guys that this is how dedicated you need to be to your craft and to your business to have the results that you see on the internet that blow your mind. You can have an okay business, an average business, and have quote unquote more balance, right? But the people who take it to where TFT took it, where we never potentially should have been, right? Bigger than FTMO, that is because of that long term thinking. That is because of that willingness to sacrifice everything, knowing that the plan eventually will work out. So yeah, if you guys want to do that, that's up to you guys. That's the vision of TFT. It's been the vision of TFT. That's why as a person, I will continue to be successful. I might not be successful for 10 years, but I know in the 11th year I'll be successful, or the 15th year I'll be successful. And that is really just the difference between winning and losing. What steps are being taken to innovate, adapt to market changes, and maintain a competitive edge, especially for new traders? So for us, I commented on this earlier. I mean, it's really just about getting feedback from you guys. So if you guys tell us that pricing, profit split, first payout time is the most important thing, we are going to continue to create challenges that have low pricing, that have high profit splits, and that allow you to get payouts either anytime or every 2 days or 3 days, etc. So that our competitive advantage is just asking you guys. That's what it is, right? I don't need to scour the internet and look at everything else, right? We have enough people in the community to pull and to get feedback from, and that's what our competitive advantage is, and that's what we're doing. So if you're new, please participate in these surveys that are being put out there. This is in a way a democracy where you actually determine to some extent the outcomes and the changes that are happening in the community. What or does TFT copy trades from simulated funded accounts to live capital? No. How does the business model work regarding trader data? The company brings in challenge revenue. The data that is aggregated from the company is shared with an entity that is currently in the Cayman Islands. In terms of the entity that pays out for the trading data, it is that entity that is within the Cayman Islands. Generally, what's happening is there's no trading going on in terms of copying trades from simulated funded accounts to live capital. But we are throwing some ideas around. And I say this because every business in this space is operating very similar, whether you guys like to think it or not. So I'm just going to be the one that's going to be honest with you guys, and that's just is what it is. So we do have this idea, though, that what if we made all of our data public in terms of the trading data and allowed you guys to access it and to build your own strategies based on looking at all of our traders' data? It would all be anonymized. You wouldn't see anyone's names, locations, etc., IPs. It would just be the raw instruments, positioning, etc. So that's an idea we're throwing around, right? How do we democratize the prop firm's data? And then who knows, maybe one of you guys can build a very profitable strategy from the data that we have, spending all of your time working on it. It's a serious opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity with the data that we have when it comes to the trading. Um, at the end of the day, it's gonna require a very advanced system, leveraging AI, leveraging machine learning to extract signals out of it to make money. We have done a lot of research ourselves. We see the potential there with it. Um, but in order for us to get to the point where that becomes the core focus of the business, like step one is in terms of the prop side and the challenge side, just growing and having traction in the market. We've already done that. We've accomplished step one. Step two is being entirely vertically integrated, so having access to all of our data whenever we want it through our own APIs, customly developed. That's coming with our migration to this technology. That's the whole purpose of the project. And step three is having a warehouse where all of the data is stored, where all the data is organized correctly, and that we start to build out strategies based on that data. And we're constantly testing, constantly changing, and all of this stuff, and constantly measuring the performance of that. That's step number three. So we tried to go from step one to step three previously and use that third party to manage the technology. And we ultimately failed with that strategy, which is why we went back to the drawing board and we're doing step two before we get to step three. And that's just currently where we're at. Are there any upcoming changes in regulation or ownership that traders should be aware of? With us working on some platform stuff behind the scenes, there could be some changes when it comes to location, when it comes to the entity, and when it comes to all of that stuff. Our goal is to have the best platforms in the industry and to be in the most trader friendly regulatory areas. So yeah, there could be some changes upcoming in terms of regulation. I think in the US things are, I can't comment on them fully, but things are kind of moving slow right now with the new administration that is coming in. So we'll see what happens with that. How does TFT view the increasing ease with which new prop firms can be set up? It doesn't concern me, to be honest. It shouldn't concern anyone that's a business owner in the space, because if you have a true competitive advantage, if you're building a true identity as a brand, building a true community, you're at the end of the day confident in your ability to innovate and to carve out a space for you in the industry. If anything, I'm thankful that those firms are entering the space. Maybe they're appealing to new customers that otherwise never would have found prop firms, and they're growing the entire market share, and that allows us ultimately to have the ability to grab more of the market share that they're contributing to and they're growing. So I really don't care about new prop firms entering the space. What is the company's stance on hiring freezes? What is the status of applications for roles like customer support or board positions? Uh, yeah, I know we posted a form about creating like a board for Discord, and then customer support. We put out a job application for technical support rep. We're currently going through the board one. Like, we didn't move forward with that just because of the logistics of it. At the time, Discord didn't even was still in slow mode. We still had a lot of work to do, but that's still, whoever filled out that form, you will at some point be contacted about that opportunity, and that idea does remain. In terms of customer support, we are evaluating everyone who's had their submissions, and whomever is moving forward to next steps is going to be informed. Hopefully by the end of this week, I'll tell the team to get on it. All right, we have a little bit more to go. We only have 3 categories. So let's see. This is a good one. Trader support, community, and development. What resources or initiatives are planned to support trader psychology and mental stability? Weekly webinars, exercises, community blogs. We have polled about this many times. This is not something that's very important to the average person in the community. It's nice to have, right? It's something that is appreciated by some, but by most, they really don't care. I think something that could be more interesting is just having a free trial. So now that we're going to be on our own dashboard, we will have lower costs and we will be able to offer a free trial account. So I think offering a free trial, allowing you guys to mess around with that account, not have to purchase to trade, etc. I think that's going to be a huge resource for us to invest in and to plan. But in terms of just more blogs, in terms of more educational resources, etc., we'll look to add. I will say this: the best people who can educate each other inside of TFT are the people who have made payouts. So what we're going to ultimately do, this is something that is not as high of a priority right now, but what I want to do is I want to create inside of the dashboard a space where the people who have gotten payouts have some type of badge, and then they can create content and videos to either sell to the community or for free to give to the community. And they can create educational resources to connect with more people and ultimately build their own brands and to help people. So that's the idea, right? We're not gonna hire a psychologist. We're not gonna hire a coach, right? Like, you guys are the psychologists. You guys are the coaches. Like, you guys are gonna be the ones that create the content that's gonna be there. That's the idea, right? So I hope I answered your question. Are there plans to enhance the affiliate program, new rewards tools, or introduce loyalty programs, rewards for long-term traders? First question, yes, the affiliate program will be enhanced to some extent. We previously had one of the best affiliate programs in the entire industry. Part of the reason why we grew so much, we had 30% of revenue coming through affiliates. Unfortunately, with everything that went down, some affiliates got fucked over. Some affiliates even today are still owed payouts from March 2024 because we're prioritizing people that are new affiliates that are creating new commissions right now, making sure those get paid on time. And there's just some large affiliates that unfortunately got put in the backlog and got fucked over. So there's plans to relaunch, per se, the affiliate program to make it as friendly as it once was, but it is a lower priority at the moment, and that just is what it is. In terms of the loyalty program rewards for long-term traders, we are going to be creating an achievement system. There's a lot on that side. So my idea is to create a platform that you can post content and earn rewards like coins, etc. Similar, we had it in the past. It was called the Treasure Hunt app. We're recreating that ourselves, and this will allow you to earn points, coins, whatever you want to call them. You'll be able to cash those in for 100% off coupons. There will also be an achievement system. I want to base it on performance within the funded accounts, performance generally for the quarter, for each quarter, for the year. Like, how cool would it be if at the end of the quarter, since you made more money in payouts than you paid in challenges, you get some sort of special discount, or you get some sort of a free account, or you get some sort of bonus, right? I think those are the things that can be done that nobody is doing, that eventually is going to separate TFT again from everyone else. Let's go. How does TFT support traders in developing their skills, strategies, and mindset for long-term success? Simply by offering our program is how we develop traders, quite frankly. So our community, our Discord, the challenges, that's how we're helping you to develop your skills, your strategies, and your mindset. My answers to the previous two questions are how we can continue to help you with those things. What are the plans for community engagements such as bi-weekly competitions, chess poker tournaments with more winners, live trading rooms? Um, these are actually my favorite questions because this is like the secret to building a great community is these types of opportunities. Nobody wants to be in a Discord that has no pizzazz, that has nothing to do, right? There should be games, there should be competitions, there should be friendly banter between one another, there should be live trading, right? This means the community is blooming. This means the community is alive, it's thriving, right? So as we continue to navigate this year, you are going to see us return to having competitions, return to having more prizes for various things. That's what happens when the company has money at the end of the day, when the company has the available funds to reinvest in the community. That's why I'm telling you that we want there to be a net profit of 50%, not because I want to go buy a yacht or not because I want to go buy the latest BMW or whatever supercar, even though I don't like cars. The reason we want to have a net profit is because that will allow us to then reinvest in the business, reinvest in marketing the company, reinvest in innovative ideas where it will ultimately allow the company to grow even larger, have you guys have a better experience, etc. That's the reason. Are there restrictions for traders from specific countries? How is TFT working to improve access and transparency for these traders? I can't answer that explicitly right now, but if you go to the FAQ and just search your country, you can get more information as to whether you're permitted to be on the platform. Will the AMA sessions become a regular feature for community interaction? Yes, they occur bi-weekly and they have been since early March. Next category, account management and logistics. Can traders use their accounts across multiple devices without issues? Can multiple traders trade from the same household? I would double check the FAQ about that one. I'm not going to answer explicitly. In terms of can traders use their accounts across multiple devices, I would advise against this personally, but the reality is if you have a laptop, if you have a phone, right, you're trading from your laptop sometimes, you're trading from your phone sometimes, and there's a consistent trend of the device that you're using, you're not going to have any issues. If you are trading on 25 different devices, then you're going to potentially run into some type of issue, right? It's not like there's no like secret, like sauce behind that. That's just the reality. If you have a laptop and a phone, maybe you have two phones and you're consistently on those devices throughout the life cycle of your user account, of all of your accounts, then that makes sense. Your story seems to be straight. If you're on 25 different devices, like what is going on with you? How does the maximum drawdown daily overall work, specifically differentiating between balance and equity based calculations for different challenges? This is something that you can get answered inside of Discord. A moderator can share with you an article, a breakdown, etc. So just feel free to shape your question and ask it inside of Discord for the answer to that one. Are giveaway accounts eligible for the VIP program, and what is the qualification timeline? Yes, they are eligible for the VIP program. In terms of the qualification timeline, over the course of, I believe it's a year, you can get more drawdown, higher profit split, which at this point we're just increasing the default profit splits up. Your payout frequencies can go down if that challenge is, if it's applicable to that challenge, etc. So for full details, go to FAQ, search VIP in there, and you guys, there's a whole article breaking all of that down. All right, last section. Category 8, CEO personal insights and general trading. What motivates you personally to work hard on relaunching and leading TFT? I think for me personally, it's this is my perspective, right? If you guys are starting to trade and you have a goal of making $1 million, right? The more you focus on that goal of making $1 million, the further away that $1 million is going to be from you. You're not going to reach it. You're going to continue to lose, and those losses are going to really affect you. You're going to really be emotionally traumatized by that situation, right? The moment you switch your goal from being about the $1 million to being about, maybe in 1 week, you want to, according to your plan, you're supposed to be holding positions for 1 hour. That's the average time at which you're holding positions for. Or maybe you're only entering at 8 a.m. You're supposed to only be entering during 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning. For 1 week, you should be entering at 8 to 9 in the morning according to your plan, and you shouldn't deviate from that plan. And after that 1 week, if you do that, you are successful, quote unquote. Now, you might not have made $1 million, but you're most likely a lot closer to making that $1 million than if your goal was to just make $1 million and trying to hit it big on one trade or one prop account or etc. So for me, it's just taking that philosophy of how do we be successful? And being successful is really having a goal, having some sort of worthy ideal that we're working towards. And the journey of going there, of doing that, of becoming that is being successful. So that's what motivates me to work hard on relaunching TFT. It's the largest challenge that I've ever faced in my entire life. And for me, it's exciting to have the opportunity to overcome that challenge. It's exciting to see all this negative feedback and to know that we could potentially change that dynamic in that direction. That's what excites me to work really hard at TFT. It's not really about the money. I know money's inevitable from creating something that's successful over time. So it's not really about the money. It's not really about my personal ego. It's not really about this and that status. It's really just about working hard on every day, trying to get better, trying to teach the team to be better, and trying to shift the dynamics of how people think of TFT, how people think of prop trading generally. And also what motivates me is seeing people get paid, seeing people who have struggled get paid out, being positive between payout, the challenge cost and payout ratio. Because you guys got to realize, like, if I see you have made more money, like the rankings I just sent out, I see that someone's ranked really high in South Africa, or someone's ranked really high in Great Britain, or someone's ranked really high in the US. They've made more money than they've spent on challenges. Like, that to me is exactly who I want to be around. That to me lets me know that my network and my sphere of influence and the people around me are winners, and the people around me have done something significant. Like, that to me is very motivating, to see those people being successful in this game that's really hard. So that's why I do this. What do you see as the biggest challenge faced in your career, and how do you overcome it? I mean, by far the biggest challenge faced in my career was being on the top of the hill one day and a few weeks later being dead in a ditch, dragged around by everyone, right? Now, I always maintained a very neutral way of thinking, and if you guys even go back to like me and Matt's monthly AMAs we used to do, we always talked about being very level and very neutral in terms of our thinking, not getting too excited, not getting too down. And I always had that approach to TFT. When we had our largest months, I was never like giddy, right? Like, I just enjoyed the moment, but I just kept moving, kept working. And that's why when we ultimately did fail and I fell in that ditch, it hurt and it sucked, but it was just another day and we just had to keep moving forward. And that's really is what it is. So, that is definitely the largest challenge that I've faced just generally. More specifically, it's been overcoming certain players trying to get leverage over us, trying to take TFT from me, trying to steal TFT from me, people that I trusted going behind my back and stabbing me in the back, and people that I was friends with stopping to communicate with me, etc., because they were afraid of what would happen to them or whatever, right? Like, those were also challenging times. But at the end of the day, like, that's the most important thing, is that I have myself, I have my team, and that I have my own drive to continue on, right? People are going to come and go. People are going to fuck you over. Businesses are going to fail at the end of the day. But it's what you have inside, the way you have your mind set up, that's what's going to determine if you can come back from all of that. What key traits, habits, or mindset shifts distinguish consistently successful traders from those who struggle? Um, it really just comes down to what I explained earlier is the most successful traders are focused on the system. They're focused on themselves, the evaluation of how they respond in the market, their emotions. So, for example, if you have been trading challenges for the last 6 months and you're not finding profitability, and you have yet to aggregate all of the data from all of those challenges to look at the times you're entering, the times you're exiting, the times you're holding the trades, the sizing, the instruments, the market in terms of the market events. If you're not evaluating all of that data to then help you to arrive at a more polished strategy, a more polished positioning and perspective, you are never going to be successful. And I think that's what's separating the successful from the non-successful. And that's even in my business, right? Like I'm constantly looking at the failures. I'm constantly looking at the things that we've been doing and then how we can do them differently. And I'm also looking at other companies and how they're doing things and how we can do things differently based on that. So the key is in the observing and in the learning and in the studying and in the evaluating and then the execution. So a lot of people skip all the stuff I said before execution, and I think that's what separates successful traders and people from non-successful ones. What is your number one rule for managing risk in volatile markets? Set a stop loss. What advice would you give an intermediate trader struggling to stick to their edge during drawdowns? Um, if you cannot stick to your edge during drawdowns, maybe you should separate yourself from the P&L and you should stop looking at the P&L entirely and you should start looking at instead your positioning, your setups, how those compare to the setups that you actually are looking for, and you should just completely forget about the P&L because that's what's bothering you. Where do you see the prop trading industry heading in the next 10 years? I think it'll be bigger than the brokerage industry. Um, Prop trading is just in the beginning. Right now, it's like it's blooming, right? It's coming, propping up everywhere. It's available everywhere, and almost every country can participate in it. And there still is yet kind of like local infiltration in terms of growing in every single region. So the prop trading industry is going to be as big as it is in the US, as it's going to be in a very small country in Africa, as it's going to be in a Australia, as it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. It's just where the world is moving towards this merit-based system, this merit-based game. It's very attractive to people. People's like nature is where this is going. People want to be rewarded for their skills. They want to bet on themselves. That's really where we're at as a society, right? They want to have the autonomous ability to have endless opportunity. And so, yeah, it's going to grow. It's going to be massive. It's going to be way bigger than it is now. And at some point, it'll be regulated, most likely. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see who remains to be a part of it. So that's everything. That's everything for the session, guys. It's been an amazing, amazing call. We really covered a lot in this session, and I just want to, as a final remark, thank you guys for the support, especially everyone that's been paying for challenges right now, that's putting your time into the program. You guys are helping to rebuild us from the bottom up. So we really appreciate it. Speaking me, my team, everyone working on the project. For those that currently are facing an issue, definitely tag me in Discord, tag me in in the live chat. You can just mention me. I'm going to be trying to do my best to get to all messages and get back to you guys. I'm going to do a run through today of Discord and answer everybody in there. And in terms of what's coming next, we'll be back in 2 weeks for another AMA, I believe on May 13th. We have the 90% off promotion right now that's running, and we have the new dashboard that is coming with the Instant Funding Challenge in June. So we'll have probably 2 AMAs before we actually do move to the dashboard in June. There's going to be another giveaway posted very shortly, and I will be announcing the winners of the giveaway from this session very shortly as well. So once again, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support. And I will talk to you guys on the next AMA, and I'll see you guys inside of Discord.